Congratulations, you just left your favorite Chevrolet dealership in your brand new 2025 Chevrolet Trax. Very similar to this cacti green active series we have right here. Now, it was delivery day. There's a lot going on. You had to pick a vehicle, you talked to the finance manager, they went over extended warranties. It was a long day. It was information overload. It may have been a little overwhelming. And in those situations, sometimes we forget things, right? So this is the delivery day video where we're gonna go over the things that maybe you forgot about the buttons, the knobs, the little intricacies of your brand new Chevrolet Trax. And we're going to start with the fact that your Chevrolet Trax does have 5 years, 60,000 miles of roadside assistance. All you have to do, if you lock the keys in the car, you run out of gas, you get a flat tire, is call the number on the screen, 1-800-243-8872, or conveniently, what is 1-800-CHEV USA. Now, let's say you got a flat tire and you just want to change it yourself. You're going to go into your trunk area, you're going to lift up the floor, and underneath you're going to find the spare tire. You're going to unscrew, lift the tire up, you're going to find your jack, the tools you need, and also a tow hook, which is right here. It just pops right out. You're then going to take that tow hook, and on the Trax Active, this little portion of the front grille is going to come off, and you can screw that tow hook into the frame of the car. On an RS trim like this one right here, you're gonna see this little section. You can pop something in here, this comes off, the tow hook gets screwed in. So if you ever slid off the road in the snow or something like that, an emergency vehicle can tow you off the road without doing any damage to your front end because you can put that tow hook in. As we look at the exterior of the vehicle, your mirrors are breakaway. They go forward and back, so hopefully you don't have any issues there. You'll notice that your fuel door is on the driver's side of the vehicle. It's just a spring-loaded press to release. There is no cap. You're not missing anything there. That's a capless system. And then on the back tailgate, there is a button underneath the back here you can press to lift up. There's also a nice handle you can use to bring it back down. Here's our key for the Trax. You have an unlock button, you have a lock button, you have a remote start button on this particular trim, and you have the panic button, which will sound the horn. There is also a little silver button on the side here, which takes out the manual key. It looks just like this, and that is used to open up the door with the keyhole behind this little panel here, in case the battery in the key fob was depleted or the battery in the truck was dead and you needed to get in the vehicle to be able to pop the hood to jump start the car. Speaking of jump starting the car, we're going to go underneath the bottom here. You're going to see the hood emblem. You're going to pull that once, come around to the front. From your Chevy bow tie on the left hand side, you're going to go straight in and then move your hand to the right. You'll catch the release. You'll also have to use the prop rod, which is here, and latches into that section. Jump starting the car is very easy. You have your positive terminal right here, and you have a negative ground post, very conveniently located right on the wheel well there on the driver's side. A couple other things under the hood. Your washer fluid filler is right here on the left. Your dipstick, if you want to check your oil, and your oil filler are right on top of the main part of the engine. If your Chevrolet Trax is an LT, a 2RS, or an Active, it's going to look very similar on the inside. If it's an LS or a 1RS, it's going to look a little bit different, but most of the buttons we cover are going to be in those models, and I'm sure you'll be able to kind of figure your way through it. So let's roll through. We're going to start with the driver's door. Very simple. Lock and unlock right on the top. Your 4 window controls, your window lock button with a little amber light to let you know it's active, and your mirrors, which is selecting your left mirror. Use a little directional pad here. And then your right mirror. So it's very easy to adjust both mirrors on both sides with this. When the lights are off, that means you can't accidentally adjust it by using the directional pad. Left side panel, we have a dimmer switch for your dash lights. That's your speedometer and your radio screen at night when your lights are active. And we have your headlight switch. Now the headlight switch is going to default auto. You can turn it off and have the automatic lights off for a certain period of time. However, if you were to start the car again, it is back in auto. You could also turn once for your amber parking lights, 2 times for your headlights. Left side stalk, obviously turn signal is nice and easy. It's also high beams. You can pull it towards you just to flash them. Activate them by pushing them forward. This symbol right here is for auto high beams. If that's active, you'll see this symbol on your dash layout, and that's going to use the front facing camera in here, which is part of Chevy's Safety Assist, to cycle your high beams on or off depending on if you're following another car or if there's an oncoming vehicle. It'll do the work for you. Right side stalk is your wipers. The very end, you're gonna turn for your rear wiper. That's your intermittent and your on. It's a 2-speed control. The whole stick will go down once just to swipe once. So if there's just like a mist on the window, you can do that. And then you can go up. When you go up one, you're an intermittent, which is your delays here. You can go to low, you can go to really fast. When you pull it towards you, it washes the front. When you push it away, it washes the back. Left side of the steering wheel, you have your heated wheel. You also have your forward collision alert gap adjust, where you can adjust how soon or how late you will get those warnings. And you have your cruise control system. To activate cruise, you're gonna press the button here at 3 o'clock. It is gonna light up a symbol on the dashboard to let you know it's active. You then use a little wheel here. You're gonna roll down to set when you're at your desired speed. You have a button here at 9 o'clock where you can cancel the cruise control. However, it's gonna remember the speed you were doing, so you can roll this up to RES for resume. You'll also notice a minus and a plus. That means every time you go down, it'll go down 1 mile per hour. Every time you go up, it'll go up 1 mile per hour when you're active in cruise. You want to turn it off altogether, you press the button at 3 o'clock again, you make sure that little symbol went off. Right side of the steering wheel, you have your push to talk button. You also have your button to hang up phone calls, which also acts as a mute button for your radio. You can mute it from here. You also have a button for music note, which is going to go onto the screen where you could adjust AM, FM, or Sirius satellite radio with our little wheel here. Or you have a phone icon, which I don't have a phone paired at the moment, but if I did, you'd be able to go through your recent calls, that sort of thing, with this wheel as well. These arrows do not do anything. They're not buttons. It's just to let you know that this wheel goes up and down. Now, for a secret feature in your Chevy Trax that you might not know about, this wheel, if you press and hold it in for a couple of seconds, 1,000, 2,000, let it go, you're gonna see you have options for gauge faces. So we can go to gauge 2 and check that out. It's gonna look a little different. Again, we're gonna press and hold this button for about 2 seconds, let it go. You have 3. I'm just rolling down to gauge 3. I'm pressing the button again. This is the third option of your gauge cluster. Press and hold for a couple seconds and then release. We can go to vehicle info, which will be like your trip odometer. And if we go one more time, press and hold, you can go to your infotainment, which will be your radio, whatever station you have playing on the radio. Press and hold one more time. We're gonna go to a clean layout, which is gonna be a little simplified, really just like a speedometer. So you have some options there that you can access. Again, press hold for a couple of seconds, let it go, and it'll give you those options. Now, if you currently own a Chevrolet Trax, did your salesperson tell you about that? Did you know you had that feature? Let me know in the comments. Next up, you got your park brake here. You're just gonna lift it up to activate that brake. It's gonna be set. To release it, you wanna put your foot on the brake pedal and press down, and it'll turn that off. Now, let's say you set the brake, you forget the brake is on, you put the car in drive, and you just start to go. You're gonna feel the car get held back, but the minute you tap the gas pedal, that brake is gonna release itself. So you can never really drive away with it active. On our shifter here, we're just gonna press the button to cycle through the different gears, whether it's park, reverse, neutral, drive, or L. When you're in L, you can manually shift through the 6 gears yourself with the plus and minus button on the side of the shift knob. Also, when you go to reverse, of course, camera's gonna pop up automatic. Up in front of the shift knob here, you do have an auto start stop off button. That'll deactivate the auto start stop system for that particular drive cycle. When you turn the vehicle off with your push button start, restart it the next time you get in it, this will be on again. So you gotta deactivate it each time if you want to. You also have your lane departure warning with lane keep assist. That's active when the orange light is lit. Anything over 37 miles an hour, if the camera can see the lane lines, it'll turn this symbol green, and it'll basically keep you in your lane, that if you get too close either way, it'll turn the symbol orange, it'll nudge the wheel to kind of keep you in your lane. If you have any kind of emergency, you need to double park, whatever it may be, you have your hazards or your 4-ways located right here, nice red triangle. You also have all your climate control settings. So this is gonna be our fan speed, how much air you want. This is gonna be the direction of where you want your air, the floor vents, the dash vents, or the windshield. You also have your hot to cold knob here. This system is automatic, where if you set the control for 65 and you hit auto, it'll do what it has to do to bring the car to that temperature. You also have your button for air conditioning. You have your max front defrost, you have your rear defrost, and you have heated seats in this vehicle for both passenger and driver. Our heated seats, 3 is very hot, 2 is medium, 1 is low, back to off. The last button here is on the right-hand side knob. That's your recirculate, where it'll take the air and recirculate it through the cabin. Works real well using this when you're driving through tunnels or in a hot day like today when you want that cold air to get recirculated to get colder and colder. Our radio and infotainment screen here is a full touch screen. We can press the home button. You're gonna see you have icons for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, climate. So everything we just did on the controls at the bottom can be done on screen as well. You also have a button for settings where you can go through a whole bunch of different settings, like changing the time and date, changing your language. Maybe you want it to be French or Spanish. You can go back and you could pair phones. You can do some settings with your Wi-Fi network, all the sorts of things that you may need about the systems in the vehicle. Then you have a vehicle button where you can go through and you can customize and change things with your collision detection systems, comfort and convenience, lighting, how the doors lock and unlock, just a whole bunch of things you can go through and customize. And then you have one with apps, which is going to be for anything with your audio, your phone, and your OnStar. So there's different settings there as well. Very easy system to use. Again, you hit the home button, you press settings. The last one is the Wi-Fi hotspot, which again, you could purchase data. If you want a data plan through OnStar, you can actually hop on here. You can rename your hotspot. You could also do the password and rename that as well. The next button up here is going to be a little checklist button. That's where you're going to see all the vitals of the vehicle, right? So like trip odometers, fuel economy. If we go over to gauges, we're going to see our battery volts, our coolant temperature. We go to maintenance, we're going to see our tire pressures, our oil life, and there's two little buttons here, which means we can swipe over to our engine air filter life. So this is where you can check some of the vitals of your vehicle. Next button up is for traction control. There's no more hard key, it's on screen. So if you want to turn the traction control off, you can. If you want to turn the traction control and the electronic stability control off, you can. And you can obviously leave them all on. Now, every time you start the vehicle, it will be on. And it says here, when on, your traction and electronic stability control system works to prevent slipping during normal driving conditions. Turn off to increase traction in sand, mud, snow, or ice. So if you're in your Trax and you're stuck in the sand, mud, snow, or ice, try turning that off. Maybe that'll give you the traction you need to get out of whatever situation you're in. Next thing up is the phone icon, which is very easy. This is how you're going to pair your phone. You hit manage phones, you hit add phone, you then go to your connection settings on your cell phone. And I'm updating mine right now. As soon as I see the My Chevrolet icon, I'm going to click on that. Now, once you click on that, it's going to show you a number. You just want to make sure that number matches on the screen. You hit pair in your phone, you hit pair in the radio, and it's going to pair your phone. Now what it's doing is automatically enabling, if I hit that button, the ability for Android Auto to wirelessly communicate with the screen. We're going to do that. We're going to close this. We're going to mute the radio, and I can show you on screen now that Android Auto is live, so I can use this for Google Maps, Waze, Pandora, like all different features. Obviously you have Apple CarPlay as well, and it's that easy to set it up. And again, it's wireless, which makes it even easier. If you need to charge your phone, you do have USB ports down below and an old school 12-volt charger as well. Next button up top, music note. This is where you can see your AM, your FM, your Sirius radio, and any devices you have programmed. If I go to Sirius XM, we're now loaded up. This is your source button. It'll bring you right back to where we were if you want to change from AM to FM. You have channel selectors here. You can go left and right to select what stations you might want. You also have a little tuning icon where you can type in the station you want. So if you know you want the highway on XM, you can go right to channel 56. You can hit go and you're there. Now, if you want to set this as a preset, we can press and hold any one of the boxes on the bottom and it'll store that as your preset. You could also do it by selecting the actual station. When you're in this mode, you'll see there's a star here. If you click that star, that's going to bring it and store it to the next possible slot that is currently available. You also have a button here where you can go to different categories. So depending on if you want music, news, sports, or talk. Actually, I might as well press one of them. Let's press music, and it'll bring up different types of music. Let's go to rock, and it's going to bring up your rock stations on Sirius XM. Last button here is settings, where you can go in and you can do a couple different settings. This is where you would find your sound to change your bass, mid-range, treble, or also your fade to balance, depending on what speakers you want your music if you want to move that around. Again, very easy system to use, all touchscreen. You get lost in it, hit your home button, brings you right back to the beginning. Now on the topic of the radio, on the back of the wheel here, you're going to see a couple of buttons. You can toggle your volume up and down on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side back here, you have up and down buttons where you can go through your presets. So when you have stations programmed, you can move left and right through those stations that you have programmed on the bottom here. It also works where if you have like Spotify or Pandora on, you can press to skip a song or move throughout those playlists as well. Up over our head here, we have our dome light button. Right now it's in the middle position, which means it's set to the door. When you open and close your door, your lights will come on. To the right, your lights are always on. To the left, the lights are always off. So if you want to leave it in the middle, when you open your door, you'll have that light. You have your passenger airbag warning light here. It's off because obviously nobody's in the seat. You also have your OnStar buttons. Now the two important buttons here are the blue one, which is gonna get you to an OnStar rep, part of the free trial of the vehicle, to contact them for anything you may need. Directions, question about the vehicle, to purchase services. Then you have your red SOS button. While your service is active, you can hit that button. They know who you are and where you are, and they can start dispatching emergency help to your location, whether it's you that needs assistance, or maybe you just saw an accident happen in front of you and you want to report it. Again, if you have the system, it's quicker than 911 because they know who you are and where you are as soon as you hit that button and you're connected with them. Now again, I know it's a lot to go over. If you have any questions, put those down in the comments. You always have your owner's manual in your glove box. If you leave it there, you can always refer to that. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered it all. The last thing I do want to mention on screen here, if we take a look, your mileage on the Chevy Trax on this screen is the number on the right-hand side, 12 miles. The mileage on the left-hand side is your miles till empty based on how much fuel you have in the vehicle, which currently in this vehicle shows 168. This way you don't get that confused and think you have 168 miles on the vehicle versus 12 miles of range. Although when you start putting thousands of miles on the vehicle, I don't think anybody would think they have like 33,000 miles on a tank. It only becomes an issue in the very beginning when the mileage levels are low. Again, congratulations on your brand new Chevrolet Trax. I know you're gonna love the vehicle. Thank you very much for purchasing a Chevrolet vehicle. And if again, you have any product questions, put them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them all.